Hello everybody. In this video, I will be responding to a question that I received in my YouTube comments recently. And here is the comment that I got. It says, do you lose money when you roll over or gain more profit from the premium? So this depends on the specific situation, and I'm going to show you some examples in this video. So when you roll over, for example, if I roll over my SOFI $25 covered calls, it depends on which specific option I'm rolling over to that determines if I'm gonna have a net debit or a net credit. Whether I end up losing money or if I end up gaining even more premium. So, for example, right now, the SOFI $25 covered call, it's worth 80 cents. Now, if I click on roll this position, usually, if you pick the same strike price, but a further out expiration date, you end up getting more premium, or the option value is greater than what it is if it were a expiration date that's closer to today. So for example, if we compare August 29th, right, that's in 5 days from now. So August 29th, the $25 call, it's only worth 80 cents, like I showed before. However, if you pick the $25 call in December, for example, which is further out, the $25 call is $3.75, which is greater than 80 cents. See, when you go further out in expiration date, that means the value goes up. So if I were to roll out to the same strike price, but a further out expiration dates, as you can see, I'm getting a net credit. So it's not costing me more. I'm actually getting additional credit if I roll out to this further expiration date, because I'm getting rid of my option that's worth 80 cents that expires on 8/29 and replacing it with an option that's worth $3.75 that expires in December. So overall, I'm getting over $18,000 more in credit. However, if you choose a further out expiration date, but you choose a much higher strike price, you might end up getting a net debit instead. So for example, if I choose the same expiration date, right, December 19th, but I choose a way higher strike price, like $40, for example. Let's say instead of that, I choose this $40 call expiring in December. Now, as you can see, instead of a net credit, I'm getting a net debit. So I'm actually ending up having to pay additional money in order to roll this out. So I'm replacing the $25 covered call expiring on 8/29, which is worth 80 cents, and replacing it with a new position that's worth only 62 cents, less than it was worth before. So I'm ending up with a net debit instead of a net credit, right? I'm taking something that's worth 80 cents and replacing it with something that's worth less. So I'm ending up with the net debit in that case. However, as long as you choose a strike price that's, close enough to the point where the value is going to be greater than what it was with your current position, then you should end up with a net credit still. So for example, if I pick the $30 strike price expiring on December 19th, that's still a net credit. If I pick the $27 strike price expiring on December 19th, that's still a net credit, right? But if you go too far up, if you go too high up, you're going to get values that are lower than your current position, which will give you a net debit instead of a net credit if you go too far up. So some key points here. When you roll out to a further expiration date, make sure you're not choosing a strike price that's too far above what the current position is. So if you currently have a $25 strike price, if you choose something that's way higher than it is, like a $38, $39, $40, if you choose something that's way higher than what the current strike price is, you might end up paying a net debit instead of getting a net credit for rolling it out. So that's something to keep in mind for choosing your strike price. Don't choose one that's too high, or else you'll end up paying a net debit instead of getting a net credit. Now, another thing is if you don't choose an expiration date that's far out enough. So for example, if we had the right now, I currently have the SOFI $25 covered call expiring on August 29. If I just roll it out to only the next week, which expires in September 5th, and I choose a strike price of $26, $26 is not like way above our current strike price of $25, right? It's still pretty close. However, because I didn't choose an expiration date that's far out enough, I still end up with a net debit. As you can see here, I'm replacing the $25 covered call expiring on August 29th with the $26 covered call expiring on September 5th, which is only 1 week further out from that. And as you can see, it's resulting in a net debit. So you need to also pick an expiration date that's far out enough to where you can have enough room to get a net credit for it instead of a net debit. So for example, if we take, right now, we're trying to roll out to the $26 covered call expiring on September 5th, right? But if we choose a further out expiration date, even if it's the same strike price, if we keep the $26 strike price, but we pick a further out expiration date, watch what happens. So instead of September 5th, we pick September 26th, right? We pick at the end of the month, and then we still choose the $26 strike price. As you can see, because we picked an expiration date that's far out enough, it's now resulting in a net credit instead of a net debit. So as you can see, we changed from a $26 covered call expiring on September 5th. Now we're choosing to roll it out to a $26 covered call expiring in September 26th. So because we picked an expiration date that's further out, even if it's the same strike price, if we pick an expiration date that's further out, it's now resulting in a net credit. So we're getting additional credit for rolling this out. So again, I want to remind you guys what the two big main factors are. If you want to roll out a covered call and you want it to result in a net credit instead of a net debit, what you want to do is pick out a expiration date that's far out enough, right? It can't be too close to where it is now. It needs to be further out enough. And you cannot, well, I wouldn't say you cannot, but if you pick a strike price that's way, way too high, more likely it's going to end up being a net debit instead of a net credit. So not only do you want to pick a strike price that's, not only do you want to pick an expiration date that's further out enough, but you also want to pick a strike price that's fairly close to where it is now. That way, it'll be more likely to resulting in a net credit than a net debit. But anyways, you can, in Robinhood, you can actually see the values of the option you're trying to roll it out to. So for example, if the option you currently have, your current position, is worth 80 cents, like it is here, all you need to do is pay attention to what is the value of the option you're trying to roll out to. If it's more than 80 cents, then congratulations, it results in a net credit if you were to roll out. But if it's worth less than 80 cents, it results in a net debit. So that's another easy way to calculate that as well, is just look over here where it says the price and make sure that it's above the price that you're paying now if you want it to result in a net credit. Now, if you don't care about it resulting in a net credit or debit, all you want to do is just roll things out because you simply want to keep your shares, then, by all means, roll it out and do what you need to do. But for the people who care about rolling things out and they really, really want a net credit instead of a net debit, that's how you would do it. You would pick a strike price that's not too high and also pick an expiration date that's far out enough. So those are the two main things you want to look out for. So that is pretty much how it works. So I hope this answers your question about whether rolling out a covered call results in a net debit or net credit. You know, aka does it cost more money, or are you ending up getting even more money in terms of credit? That's what determines it. You need to pick a strike price that's far out enough. You need to pick an expiration date that's far out enough, and you need to pick a strike price that's not too high. All right. I hope this answers your question. I hope this helps. If you have any other questions, please feel free to let me know it down in the comments, and then I'll see what I can do, see if I can answer them. But that's pretty much it for this video. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this type of content, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll keep on making more of these videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.